Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk on Pirate Radio. And today I have a good friend of mine. I've known him for a wee while now, since TwitchCon 2018, was it? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 2018.
All the years are just becoming a blur for me. But today's guest is Sir Clever, formerly known as Christopher Clever. Christopher Clever TV, was it?
No, it's just Christopher Clever.
Christopher Clever. But now it's Sir Clever, and yeah, he's a fellow Twitch streamer. He's been around the block a bit like myself for a wee while. So, Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. It's a wee bit late here in the... Well, I say late, it's the evening here in the UK, but it's about noon where you are now, right?
Yeah, it's like noon o'clock. Noon. I love when I say that, noon o'clock. People are like, what?
Noon o'clock. It's like when people ask me what time I wake up, it's like, oh, I don't know, early o'clock, something like that.
Early o'clock.
Like, oh. Yeah, I'm not a morning person.
A lot of times I'll say noon 30, and people are like, what? It's like, yeah, noon 30.
It's like, what time is it? 12:00, eh? What is 12:00? But welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on. You are my first male guest. You are the first person with boy parts.
I am honored. Hey,
yeah, you should be. I was actually genuinely concerned people were going to be like, "Why has he only got women on the show?" kind of thing. But I've actually had like other male guests lined up, but they've all bailed at last minute, unfortunately. But so thank you for not doing that, and hopefully we'll have a joyous time together like we usually do.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm really not looking forward to. I'm just kidding.
That's it. I'm leaving.
Bye.
But in the meantime, obviously I know who you are because, as I said, we're friends. That's kind of how friendships work. But for those who are not familiar with you, tell us, who are you and what do you do?
I am a Twitch streamer, and I have been, like you said, around the block a while. I think I've been Twitch streaming for about 4 years. I've been an affiliate for 3. I've taken some hiatuses here and there, but mostly I just play story games and roguelikes and things like that. I'm what you consider a variety streamer. Formerly Christopher Clever, as you said, so everything's still kind of leaning toward the new brand, but I decided to go with SirClever because it's shorter, and that's probably the only reason.
I don't have to type as much now.
Pretty much. No, I wanted Clever, but I'm not a partner, and I've tried to kind of have that push, and it's very hard to get that. That would be very brandable, but I also know 2 other streamers who have the name Clever in their name. Like, legit, I met one at Nashville's Twitch meetup, and she's Mrs. Kill Clever, I think her name is. But she's like, basically like, yeah, I'm taking the name if I can get it. And I'm like, oh, it's like a race to see who can get partner and take the name Clever, twitch.tv/Clever. And now that people are listening, they can go and steal it from us. So, but yeah,
hopefully I can help out a wee bit with that because I know.
We'll figure it out.
So I shall discuss that with you later. But in the meantime, you obviously stream. Absolutely. I believe you have recently started a new job, or relatively new.
No, I haven't started a new job yet, but I did get certified to be a cybersecurity analyst. So that is something I'm very proud of, and also had to take 2 months off streaming for because the studying was intense. But I am looking to get a new job here in the next coming months. So yeah, it's a work in progress.
Well, GG on getting the new qualifications. Always cool to be recognized for your hard work. So do you want to tell us what you do outside of streaming?
Yeah, I just sleep. That's a lie. Streamers don't sleep. I know we're constantly working hard. I work in an IT security field, which is fun. I work for a major corporate company and looking to kind of downscale that a bit and get paid more, but work with less people. That is a goal of mine. But yeah, so I deal with encryption software in the day-to-day, which is fun. So basically major companies like hospitals and banks and people who need their data encrypted so people can't steal it, or if they do steal it, they can't access it. It's kind of, for people who aren't into the computer touching, it's very much it makes me sound cool like a hacker, which is great. But no,
although
I do that.
To people that aren't really into computers, we all sound like that as far as they're concerned, don't we? From what I've ascertained.
You can open up Microsoft Office? Oh my God, you're Neo from the Matrix. Like, yes, I am.
You're a wizard. Yes, okay, yes, I'm a wizard.
Just pat me on the back some more, please. But yeah, so I do that during the day and make pretty good money doing it. I kind of accidentally got into that field because I used to work retail, which was, please don't. I mean, do if you need a job, obviously, but please get away from it as quick as you can because it will haunt your dreams and it's just the worst. So when I moved down to Austin, Texas, I walked into the company I work for and literally was just like, what do you guys have? Like, what do you guys hire for? And they had some more generic like call center jobs, technical support, and I got my foot in the door that way, and then basically just started earning certifications, which they covered in their benefits, and so here I am after, oh my God, I think it's almost 6 years now I've been doing that.
But it's taking you places by the sounds of things, so that's quite cool.
Oh yeah, no, I've definitely doubled up on salary and have worked my butt off. So,
which is like, it's always, especially as streamers, because like obviously the end game generally for a lot of us is to potentially do the vast majority of our work life as a streamer, and like obviously
absolutely, yeah,
maybe looking to do it full time or at least have a lot of income coming from it. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that we hate our jobs. Like I quite enjoy my job, and I'm looking to do courses and things that are paid for at the company as well, which will look to increase my salary as well as expand my horizons. So it's always nice to have that plan B and enjoy both the streaming side of things as well as our in real life jobs at the same time. But I find that there's not actually a lot of people that are in that position. They don't enjoy both. Do you like notice that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely enjoy my job. I mean, for the sake of the job itself and the work I do, I absolutely enjoy it. I think there are moments when you have that, day-to-day like monotony of kind of doing the same thing over and over again, and that's why I am aiming for new positions and new salaries and kind of moving up in the world of IT security, because I'm trying to become a security analyst, which is, or at least a security engineer or something in that kind of side of things, where you're more on the protection side. But yeah, I see a lot of people who kind of aim to be on the higher end of streaming, and they're on very much the I don't want to say lower end, but you know what I mean. Like they're very much growing as streamers and trying to build their communities and build the audience. And the advice that I can give is you should also be taking care of yourself, not only for your mental health and kind of taking days off of streaming and doing things like that. Don't do like me and take 3 months off, but but you can do both. You can pursue a career or work at your job and try to do better at things like that, and also stream and make it work. It's just, I think people get in their mindset of streaming is like the end all be all, like this is my fantasy goal and I'm gonna hit it, I'm gonna make it, and then I'm gonna just keep doing that until I'm 65. And it's like, well, if you hit that kind of Shroud or Ninja level, obviously you're pretty much set. You can do this 2 more years and then retire if you want to, like honestly, if you make that type of money. But a lot of people, and most people that I know that are partners and have a really good income from it, they don't have benefits from streaming. You don't get your health care. You don't get your certification or tuition reimbursement. You don't get like things that obviously like bigger companies that are actually out in the world can help you with. I think I've taken healthcare in general, especially in America, for granted for a while, now that I've had it for a while. But I remember all those years I worked retail, and, I worked for Walmart. God, I'm just not even a fan. But they would go out of their way to make sure you did not get benefits. You did not get healthcare coverage.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I would work. Technically, you were supposed to work over 33 hours a week to be considered full-time for that week. And
really weird.
For 9 weeks in a row, I worked at Sam's Club actually, but it's owned by Walmart. For 9 weeks, you had to be above 33 hours to be considered full-time to get those benefits. So they would make me work full-time 8 weeks. And then on the 9th week, they would make me work like 18 hours. And they did that every 9 weeks so that they could not have to pay me healthcare. So when I found that out, I was livid and not
Yeah, I can
happy
imagine.
because they're basically
That's
breaking their own policies. And um,
that's like really backwards. Like in the UK, like it's not a case of you have to work X amount of hours to be considered full time. It's more of you have to work X amount of hours to be considered part time. Like I think it's 16.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
if you work as little as 16, you're then part time. Otherwise, you're full time kind of thing. And that's really weird. And the way that healthcare and obviously things in America is all private and so dependent on your work and things like that. Whereas
yeah,
of course here in
absolutely.
the UK, I just get it for free. Thankfully, if I need to pop to the doctor like now, I can literally just like, okay, got to go in a bizzle and then get a checkup and not fear about any bills. But I've seen like the invoices that you get.
Oh yeah,
Someone who I used to date ended up going to the hospital quite a lot, and I ended up attending the hospital with them for one trip, and I saw the invoice afterwards, and I was just like, holy hell, we've been here for 6 hours, that's it. And it was literally thousands of dollars, and it just scares the crap out of me as a British person who's used to free healthcare. Like I've considered moving to the States and looking into ways to do that, but one of the things at least holding me back, the main one, is the lack of healthcare. I would literally be considering getting a plane back, paying probably up to $1,000 to get back to the UK and go to the doctor there if there was an emergency, rather
yeah,
than paying upwards of tens of thousands of dollars for the same treatment in the US.
yeah. And that's the thing. It's kind of nuts. We don't have to really aim toward the more political side of it, I think, but it's one of those things that are like, I take it for granted now that I have my company cover it, which is nice. And it's one of those things I didn't really look for when I was younger because I worked in retail and I wasn't used to it. But the same thing happened, where I had to go to the emergency room. I don't even remember. It was like the flu and then pneumonia. And then I think I got strep throat the same end of the flu. And it was like 3 giant health problems all at once. And I have asthma. So all of that hit me at once, and I was actually with my mom at the time back in the day. This was many, many years ago, probably about 10 years ago, actually. And I went to the hospital, and they gave me like breathing treatments, and they kind of fixed me up. And I was in there for, I don't know, a couple hours, and I was okay, thank God. But like the bill that I got like 2 weeks later was just thousands of dollars, and I was like, I can't do this. And it actually ended up not being paid, and I just had to hit my credit report, and my credit sunk, and it was like, but I can't pay $3,000 on a 4-hour hospital visit. Like that's absolutely insane. And
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that they, like you said, it's privatized, and we're so much relying on the insurance companies and our jobs to funnel it through the insurance companies, and then the insurance gives you deductibles, and it's this whole system that's kind of awkward. And it's like, can we just like take the middleman out? Just like, I would much rather just pay a little bit of a tax, or something that just covers everyone, and we're good,
Yeah.
I don't want the doctors not to get paid, but I also had an ex-girlfriend whose dad ran this business, and I won't name the business, but basically they started the business from the ground up, and it was essentially this kind of healthcare provider service. But what they did was they took older hospital machines, and then they just kind of fixed them a little bit, and then they resold them for like 20,000% markup, like an insane amount. Like they'd buy them for $1,000, and then they'd resell them back to the hospitals for like 80 grand. And it's like, oh my God. And the fact that that's even a thing.
Bit shady.
Yeah, but it happens, and then that's what makes the insurance companies raise the prices, kind of. And it's like, oh man, this is it's just kind of this backwards system, and I don't know all that about it. I'm not going to sit here and preach like but it's crazy when you're sitting here and you get sick, and the first thought that you have, and I've had this thought many times, is, well, I'm definitely not going to the doctor because I don't want to have to pay all that money. Like,
even in like actual emergencies, you from what I've like discussed with fellow American friends, that they've all been like, I literally have to stop and think, can I afford to get an ambulance? It's like, I'm bleeding from the neck. Should I get a taxi or should I get an ambulance?
Yeah, let me call an Uber because it's going to be cheaper.
Yeah. Even after having to pay for the cleaning bill of his car that's covered in blood afterwards, kind of thing. Like, you would never have that thought in the UK. You'd literally just go, you need an ambulance, and then you'd call it, and then you'd be in hospital, you'd get checked up on, etc., discharge, and you go home, and that's it. It's baffling to me.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That it's not like that everywhere, and it's like, that's such a good system though. One thing obviously that affects US streamers, of course, is, as you mentioned, there's no real like healthcare with it, because it's not technically you're not technically an employee of Twitch. You're just a contractor at the end of the day, and even then, it's where the legal terms blur a bit. It's like, well, you this person who is partnered with them, and you get a bit of profits paid to you via some convoluted system, but you're not technically an employee. And it's something they've been asking for a while. Is that something you could ever see Twitch doing?
No.
Or Amazon doing?
No, I'm not gonna sit here and like pull apart how Twitch or Amazon really works as far as their income and their benefits to streamers and such. But what I will say is that I think I don't think it would benefit Twitch at all, because if you become an employee of a company, even if it's like through partnership or through Twitch, streamers or whatever, that kind of status, if you become an employee of a company, there's so many laws here in the States, especially, that have to do with how you treat your employees, and you have to pay a certain amount of their taxes toward the IRS and, the Internal Revenue Service. And if streamers are contracted, Twitch doesn't have to do any of that. They're not responsible for any of that, and it basically falls all on the streamer. And that's another issue that a lot of people don't see, is they're like, I'm going to be a full-time streamer, it's going to be great, I'm going to make thousands of dollars. Like, okay, but let's say you do. Let's say you make $4,000 a month, $4,000 US dollars, right? And you siphon that into your bank and whatever. You have to pay the normal taxes that you'd have to pay, but you also have to pay extra taxes because you're technically a self-owned business. Now, I got screwed over that way because I worked for a trucking company, ironically, as a financial analyst.
Right.
I was keeping tabs on money and cash flows and things during the day-to-day stuff. But, I was a junior financial analyst under a guy, and I think I made like 13 or 15 an hour or something. It was a pretty low amount for what I was doing, controlling those finances. But in the end of it, I was required to pay quarterly taxes, and the amount of taxes that I owed compared to just having a normal $15 an hour job was outrageous. It was like 40% of every profit that I made. And because I didn't pay quarterly, and I didn't know to, I wasn't aware of this. They don't teach you this in high school over here. Your parents don't teach you this. They don't teach you the different types of tax brackets and the different types of tax you have to pay. But a lot of kids growing up like me, I mean, I'm 33 now, but back when I was 19, 20, doing these types of jobs, I had no idea. And so what happened was I didn't pay quarterly. And at the end of the year, I filed my taxes, and they basically audited me and said, hey, you didn't pay quarterly. And I was like, well, I have all this money. And they're like, well, we're going to add an insane amount of penalties and fees and interest on this. And for every month you don't pay us in full, this, what ended up being about $8,000, we're going to just keep adding penalties and interest. And so
that's crazy.
In the end of it, I paid almost double that over time, over the past couple of years. And every time I got an income tax check from my job, they would just take it. And that is the danger of Twitch or working by yourself, is you really, if you're going to do that and you're going to go full time and you're going to quit your day job and you're going to start streaming on Twitch, like, forewarning, you can very well end up in that situation so fast. Because if you don't pay your taxes, if you don't do it right, if you don't keep your receipts, I was lucky to write off my taxes this year from Twitch because I bought a stream PC and 2 giant desks and all of these things from Amazon, and I had every receipt for it. And when I filed, I was able to write those off. Same with TwitchCon trip, plane tickets, whatever. You can do that. But at some point, you're going to make more money than you spend, and that's when the danger comes where, if you're in America and you're trying to do that Twitch streamer thing, they can come after you and they can make sure that your life is a living hell. So
I imagine they do. Like, usually, at least in the UK, I find that they tend to go for the bigger fish, or at least the medium-sized fish. To
see, I don't think it's that way here.
Yeah, I imagine in the States it's just like we're gonna get everybody. We want all the money kind of thing. And it's one thing that actually does intimidate me as someone who hopefully one day can at least reduce my hours at work and spend more time streaming. It is something where I'm like, I have to make a sole trader like registration, or I at least have to like register a limited company and whatnot, and having to do all my accounting and all that shenanigans, or at least hopefully be in a position where I can pay an accountant and not have to deal with that nightmare. And I don't think a lot of people really take that into consideration. It's like you said, they just go, oh, this is the dream. And then they go into the dream and it's like, you're an adult. Here's all the adult shit that comes with it.
Yep.
and they're like, oh, I didn't know about this. And it's like you said, you don't get really taught that in schools. It's almost like a conspiracy that all the government's like, shh, don't tell them. We'll catch them out. It'll be a giggle. Yeah. We can get lots of money from them. So it is very, very intimidating in that regard, if and when you think about it. Obviously, off the back of all this, giving advice is something that I like to do to people when they come into my stream. And obviously, I think you do the same, because that's literally what we just spoke about for the past 10 minutes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You are also the, I want to say, owner of a streaming community.
I'm one of the community managers. I like to consider myself an equal to everyone else that's managing it.
And what's the name of this community?
It's Clevernation. So basically, we initially started it because it's a community of streamers and viewers and friends and all kinds of people. And I think we're like 350 members or something in the Discord. And that's, that doesn't really mean anything as far as numbers concerned. I'm not worried about the quantity of people in it. It's more about the quality of the conversations and the friendships we've made over the years. And I think it was almost about a year and a half ago, I want to say, we created it. I think it was about a year and a half ago, so about 18 months. That's guess. But basically, what I found, I had met a lot of people through a Twitch team called the Dragons a while back, and a couple other communities that I kind of frequented, and they were all good. And I liked the community aspect of it, because people would help each other out. They would go in each other's streams, and not just the kind of thing where you go in and just be like, leaving you a lurk, see you later, never talk to you again. It was more like actual interaction of, I really like watching this person's stream, and we would kind of find people we liked and did whatever. But ultimately what happened was, a lot of my friends and a lot of the people that I was teamed with and stuff, we had all of these Discords, like a lot of Discords. Everyone, even the people who had a couple average views on Twitch or whatever, I'm going to create a Discord and everyone's going to flood in there and we're going to have all these conversations and I'm going to create 35 channels in there, categorize everything. And then they would just end up either dead or they would end up being the same 5 people conversing between all 10 Discords. It would just be carrying one conversation to another Discord. Oh, we're in this guy's Discord. Well, tomorrow we're going to be in that guy's Discord. We're going to talk over there. Oh, yeah, well, we would continue that conversation. So eventually I was like, I'm just going to take my Christopher Clever Discord and I'm just going to turn it into a place where people can not only promote their own streams, but obviously get to know everyone and just kind of have it as like a central lobby where people can just hang out and ask to play games and do things. And obviously, this is not an original idea. It's happened plenty, and I'd obviously been in communities before that did this.
Yeah.
But me and or my mods and I, Bodok and RKO, who were big mods on my channel and were helping out kind of in the individual aspect of me streaming, they were like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's just start it up." And I made them community managers right off the bat in Clevernation. And the funny part is now, a lot of these communities before, at least over the past few years, have been kind of, I don't want to say shady, and I'm not trying to talk trash on people who start communities because it's great, but there were a lot of these follow for follow communities and a lot of these things popping up on Twitter that were like, listen, I have a network of 2,000 people in my community that I just created, and I did that myself, and you have to come follow my channel if you want to get my support with all 2,000 people. And it's like, holy crap, the ego. You're way more Kanye than Kanye, and it needs to stop.
I mean, I always have viewers ask me about communities and stuff, and I won't name them because this isn't a drama podcast, but there are 2 that spring to mind where I'm like, avoid those 2 like the plague.
Yes.
Kind of thing. They teach very, very bad habit. And there's the stuff that I know that happened in the background where they would approach partner streamers and basically just say, do this. It's a pyramid scheme, essentially. It will make you will end up benefiting the most because everyone's going to love you because you're partnered and blah, blah, blah. And it was quite sickening. And it's nice to see communities such as yours where it's like, let's just have a dope time together.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes that's all you want. Like you don't need a community that's like, let's grow. We are going to network. We're going to do this and this and this. I'm like, sure, that might naturally come with communities, but it's nice to sometimes just have a community where the people, they get along. Like obviously we're both in Misfit Toys,
yes,
which is a team made by Linksara, and it's literally a case of she wanted to make a team where she was like, I just want some dope people that have a good time. Like I was in Team Sin Squad before, where it was all about helping people grow and things like that, and I loved a lot of the people in Team Sin Squad. I say a lot because, you know, when you've got 150 people on one team, there's going to be some people that make you want to stay away from them, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And it's quite refreshing, I think, to just be on a team where, like, I love Bruce, for example, and Lynx in particular, and yourself. I hope we meet each other every TwitchCon and just have a big old embrace and a cuddle puddle each and every time. And it's really cool to have that. I don't want to say family bond because that's a bit too cringy.
Well, it's building a rapport with people and having actual friendships. It's not
exactly, yeah.
You know, and the cool part about that is like sometimes I get in my own head about it, and I'm like, man, I haven't talked to Misfit Toys in a while, or I haven't visited Lynx's stream or Bruce's stream, or you know these people that are on the team, and I'm like, I need to put in more effort there, and that's a valid thought. But at the same time, I'm also friends with you guys, and I don't have to worry about that because I know we're friends. And it's like if I disappear for 2 months and come back and say hi, it just picks back up where it left off. And I think that's the beauty of friends is you do that your entire lives, right? Like you have people that maybe you don't talk to for 6 months, and then the next time you see them, hey, how you been? Let's grab a beer. Like, cool. And
you just get on as if nothing ever changed.
And it feels so
that's
good.
Great. Plus, one thing I find with the communities that focus a lot on, and this is probably something I'm going to end up ranting about because it really winds me up. But like when you're in particularly large communities that focus on networking and building like these business relationships and all that, you get what I call sycophants, where there are people who are like, I love you. You are the best person on the planet. You've changed my life. And it's like, we've met 5 minutes ago. Chill out. kind of thing. It's just like, I hate meeting those kind of people. Like, by all means, be enthusiastic if you are an enthusiastic personality, but don't start like blabbering at me as if I'm the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, or if you've known me for a long time, like you don't.
Yeah. And I find a lot of that happens in the communities that shall not be named, and it's very, very off-putting because then eventually those people may branch out from those communities. And it's like, you've now got all these awful habits.
Yeah.
And it's like, where would have you been? Where could you have gone if you didn't pick up those
well, I think also
habits?
There are a lot of people out there, and even ones that have come into our community where we're like, hey, you know, if you want to get to know people, talk in the chat, in the Discord, and whatever. Mm-hmm. And we have a website, clevernation.net, not to sit here and plug, but we have like a clevernation.net/live where you can go. And there's a plugin on our website that, you know, I pay for it every year just to be up. And it's kind of like the old Twitch communities where you can like go to a community and you can see everyone that's in that community streaming at once. And we have that. Yeah. And the whole purpose of it is, hey, do yourself a favor and make friends. Like go find a new stream that you've never been to. Like find a person that, you know, and we obviously have kind of a rule set there that nobody just comes into our Discord and says, hey, I'm a streamer, throw me on the website. That's not how it works.
Right.
It's like, hey, come in and chat with us for a couple of weeks, and then we might look at your channel and go, yeah, you're pretty cool. Let's throw you in there. We have to do that because of all the fucking Fortnite streamer kids and 15-year-olds that there was a flood of them when we first started the community just coming in and going, I play Fortnite. I'm really good at it. I'm going to be the next ninja. And it's like, all right, man, cool. Well, what do you do in your free time? I just come to my stream. Okay, well, you know, who are you? Like, it's there's just such a disconnect there, and I think that's a lot of people get in that attitude, and it's scary. It's like, first of all, the whole idea of being like, I'm a streamer, so come visit me. Well, I mean, if you want to post a clip and something crazy funny happens, I might watch that clip and I might be interested and be like, hey, his content's pretty good. I'm going to go check him out. But like this whole demand that people have, and I think that's what a lot of these kind of negative community experiences create. You know, like you said, not to name names, but I've seen communities that were very much the follow for follow and whatever. So we've had people come in our community and go, you know what? Like 3 months in, you know what? I'm leaving. Okay. Like, cool. Like,
Fair
whatever.
enough.
It's fine. And then they'll DM me this entire crazy novel of paragraphs of, I'm leaving because this community doesn't do anything for my channel. And no one has come to visit me. And I'm like, well, you don't have a schedule up for when you stream. You never talk in the Discord. No one knows who you are, and it's not my fault. It's not our fault. Like, it's not the manager's fault because you're not putting in the effort to make friends. Nobody's just going to flock to your channel and suddenly you've got 40 average viewers because you're just sitting in a Discord quietly. Like, that's not how it happens. And I think that's...
I've been on teams where new people have been added, and they're like, I'm going to follow everyone. It's like, you don't need to follow everyone. I'm going to check out every single person's stream and come back again and again and again. It's like, you don't need to. Especially in the bigger communities. It's like, listen, find people you get on with. You are not obligated to like each and every person that you meet in this community. And it baffles me how determined some people are to put up this facade. It's like, I love you all. And it's like, no, you don't. There's 150 of us here. Half of us are wankers, literally. Like, you probably think we're idiots. And that's okay. You're not obligated to get on with me or whoever. Like, find the people that you do get on with, make those friendships, have a good time with them, and obviously be civil and amicable with others that you don't like. But there is no obligation to get on with each and every streamer that you meet, especially the ones that you're in teams or communities with.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that, again, a lot of people don't always necessarily realize, and they come across as very disingenuous, which is something I think is very important when it comes to streaming, because you are your brand. So if you come across as very disingenuous, especially on first impressions, and it's like, well, how can I trust anything you do as a streamer, as a content creator, as, you know, an influencer, for whatever terminology you wish to use? And it just, I don't get how people don't see that sometimes. It's like, do you not think you're being fake? And they're like, no, I love you all. It's like, okay, honey, sure, kind of thing.
Yeah, you don't
do you.
It's very strange phenomenon that they pull that off too, because it's like, I've been in streams where I jump in and I've been there 5 minutes, and all of a sudden the I love yous and the major compliments about me as a person, and I'm like, I'm just a name on a screen, dude. You keep playing the game and you entertain us. That's what your job is. Like, you don't have to flatter me and butter me up. Like, I don't want somebody to just, as soon as I come in, just to have you kiss my ass. Like, I need you to just be cool. Like, and yeah, it seems very disingenuous, and I'm like, I leave, because I'm like, I don't want to. It's fine to be complimentary, and it's fine to be loving and whatever. I'm that way, especially toward my regulars. I'm like, hey man, I can't wait to hang out with you at TwitchCon. I love your face. I'm glad to see you. Whatever. But like, it's a real feeling because I know these people. It's
sincere, yeah. It's not just, let's just be sycophantic for the poops and giggles because I feel like they'll then benefit me in some way or form later down the line. And they're not here ever again.
That's it. You just nailed it. Yeah. It's always, and I see that on Twitter a lot, people just going, and I reply to a lot of tweets. Like, I go back and forth, and there are people that I obviously totally stan. Like Bloody Faster, she's one of my favorite people. And I don't catch her stream often, but when I do, it's hilarious, and she's great. And like, there are people that I'm obviously going to talk to because I like them a lot, like her. But then there are also people that I see that will go off and post on, if they know somebody's a Twitch partner, or if they know somebody's a bigger, bigger communities and whatever. I see them just replying to every single one of their tweets, and it just looks like suck up type tweets. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, everyone can see this, right? Like,
right.
And it's almost to the point where it's like, hey, it's fine to compliment somebody and it's fine to like support them and like their stuff. But when you're doing it so much, and the way that you're wording those tweets is basically just under the line of saying, hey, you should come raid me sometime. Hey, you should come check out my stream sometime. Then it's like, they're not quite saying that, but it's like, you're doing this for clout or for, Twitter representation. It just seems very fake. And,
like, for me personally, when it comes to Twitter, and it's something I've posted about on my Twitter before, like, I have friends, very dear friends, that I don't follow on Twitter because I don't like their timeline.
Yeah,
That's it.
I'm the
That's
same
it.
way. Yeah.
There are people who I follow on Twitter who I don't follow on Twitch. It's not because I think they're bad. They just don't gel that way when they're not content I would like to watch.
Yeah, it's obviously two different contents. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love them thoroughly as people. And then you'll see tweets sometimes going, this person unfollowed me, they hate me, and I'm gonna weep in the fetal position for 10 days. And it's like, no.
Oh, I really want to talk about this.
It's just social media. You're okay not to follow every single person that you have a good friendship with, and likewise they don't owe that to you either.
Yes.
So when I see folks complain about that, I'm just like, you need to delete your account. You need to not be on social media because you are too deep into this shit.
Well, this is
and
absolutely
it affects people massively mentally.
Yeah, and that's the biggest part right there. That's what I want to talk about right now, because you just mentioned it. It affects people mentally on a level. So I've deleted my Facebook. I used to have a Facebook. And it's funny enough because even my Facebook didn't have my real name. Like I went by my my comedy name because it was easier for people to Google, basically. So a lot of that was I didn't really have a lot of personal information out there anyway. I started kind of dialing it back the last few years, mostly because of Twitch streaming and being on, an online presence. But I deleted my Facebook because of that. Because of my sister's one of those people. I was just talking to my friend about it. Vague ass statuses on Facebook, like, this is just literally the worst day I've ever had. And then someone will ask about it and be like, okay, well, what happened? Well, I don't want to talk about it here, just text me. And then I'll text her. Now, this is coming from a person who literally had breast cancer. My sister used to have breast cancer, and she went into remission. So when I see her post a Facebook status of, I've had the worst day ever, please send prayers, or whatever, I'm thinking, oh God, she's out of remission. Oh God, this is going to be a bad thing. And then I text her, and she's like, yeah, I can't have half my day off Friday because my boss won't let me. And I'm like, you have to stop posting vague statuses and just making it this big deal. So that combined with the fact that people are very much like, oh my God, you unfollow me. Oh my God, you delete me as a friend on Facebook. You unfollow me on Twitter, or you don't come to my streams. Like, everyone takes it as such a personal attack. And it's not. It's like we have lived for so many decades without the internet and without this being without mobile phones in our hand to tell us about, our feeds and timelines and all this stuff. Just
each and every movement.
Yes. Just put the fucking thing down and take a day to meditate and just like enjoy yourself. Play a game offline. That's what I do. I'll play Final Fantasy VII on my PS3 and just sit in my bed and turn my phone off. And it's like that. Read a book. Like do something that disconnects you out of that entire world of validation. Do I look cute enough? Let me post 8 selfies on Twitter, and if I don't get enough likes, I'm gonna cry about it. Like, stop. You should be able to look in the mirror and go, you know what? It's fine to like not like yourself in that way. Like, because I have my days.
Yeah.
But to put all of that validation into an online thing, all of it, like all of your value is determined by your Twitter likes or your Twitter follows or whether or not somebody follows you. I have plenty of people that have unfollowed me on Twitter. And I used to care back when I first started streaming, like, oh, they obviously don't like me. I understand that feeling. I empathize. But you have to mentally get over that and go, okay, they may just not like the things I post, which is totally fine.
And it's not an attack on you. It's
exactly.
Just, they're not into that, and that's okay.
Yeah, I had to unfollow somebody on Twitter a couple months ago because and I genuinely like this person. Like, they're awesome. But they just kept retweeting those stupid tweets that were like, what is it? Like, yeah, retweet this now. I'm giving away 10 grand. I need a sugar baby or whatever. And they did that constantly. And I was like, okay, I want to mute you, but I'm just going to unfollow because there's no point in the future I'm going to unmute you, and I'm not interacting with you on Twitter. So,
Yeah, it's the mute function as well. It's a weird one because it's like, maybe if it's a temporary thing, like it's going to be temporary, like they're currently going through something, or
they're going to do
a
in-game
situation
spoilers,
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mute words. Like I'm not into wrestling at all.
Oh yeah,
it's not my thing. So I've got like WWE, WWF, wrestling, etc., all muted because Like whenever there's some kind of seasonal league going on, there's a plethora of it on my timeline, and I'm like, what is this bollocks? Get rid of it, kind of thing. But I don't really bother muting people because it's like, well, if I'm going to mute you, I may as well just unfollow you because again, it's disingenuous and like I don't need to.
I'm not gonna fake it and
follow
pretend
you.
like, oh yeah, I definitely follow you. It's gonna, I didn't see your tweet. I'm sorry. It's like,
Yeah,
no, just
it's like I've muted people who I don't follow because they genuinely ignore me and their existence is annoying, kind of thing. And they can come up because of the whole like that person's tweet, blah blah, like their tweet. It's like, oh, okay, that's annoying, kind of thing. Sure, but if you're just going to mute someone you already follow, you may as well just unfollow because what's the point?
Well, the whole point of a timeline and a feed on anything, I mean, even on news sites or if you have like a news app on your phone and whatnot, you add what you want. You add the content you want to see. And, whether that's your Fox News advocate, I'm sorry, and you should probably not be. But if you're just wanting to look in your echo chamber of news and politics, you do that on an app. So if you want to do the same thing on Twitter, there's nothing wrong with that. It's like, I see a lot of streamer Twitter, right? And I'm sure you do too, where you see streamers talking about streaming. And it is almost fucking constant. And the drama that follows that of, hey, this week some guy's tweeting about boobs. Cool. Let's have that conversation at 80th time, And then everyone does the thing where they're like, well, I'm not going to talk about it. Well, you just tweeted about it. So clearly you want the attention in this dramatic field. But then it's also the, the generic advice that goes around Twitter of like, hey, make sure you're not doing follow for follow. It's like, well, everyone that's been built into streamer Twitter already kind of knows that. And I think it's just this kind of like almost snake eating its own tail sometimes. I like streamer Twitter and I like the streamers on Twitter, at least the ones I follow. But sometimes I want to see other content. So I have unfollowed a lot of those streamers, and it's not anything against those streamers because I love them as people, and I do hang out on their streams. But I'm just tired of seeing that. Like I don't need another generic advice thread. I don't need another booby streamer like argument going on, and this whole just it's always some huge deal thing. And what I do when I look at that now. Don't get me wrong, I've totally argued with people on Twitter before, and I absolutely am pretty much in full support of anyone doing whatever the fuck they want on Twitch, as long as it's not against TOS. Wearing a halter top is not against TOS. Sorry, but just let the women be. But
yeah, exactly.
But with that said, when this happens, one guy will make a tweet, and then for the next 4 days, it is thousands of streamer Twitter streamers just posting about it. Right. And it blows up to this gargantuan, just do what I do and look at this guy and go, well, he's a fucking asshole. And then move on. Don't give him the time of day because he's getting tens of thousands of retweets, mostly so you can add your comment and say, this guy's a prick. Well, we all kind of know that. I guess it just becomes this thing where you're giving someone all of this power because now his tweet is being seen by thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, and the impressions on his tweet alone are crazy. And what you're doing is you're absolutely increasing his echo chamber because there are going to be dudes out there who agree with him because you retweeted it to add a comment, who then go and follow him and go, yeah, he's going to, and it's like you're just giving people this attention that they don't deserve.
Exactly.
Burn them out.
I think you've probably noticed whenever I have contributed to controversies within streamer Twitter, I never retweet the actual cause of the conversation.
I won't even mention them by name if I can help it. I'm just like, yep, there's a tweet going around, fucking ignore it.
Yeah, I think one I posted the other day was literally some no face, no name tool said this, mute them, they're a complete twat, just get on with it kind of thing. And it's just like, and it is, as you say, it's rinse repeat. It's every quarter we have the same conversation.
Yeah,
it's and by all means, educate people.
Absolutely, yeah. Go
on the educate people who don't want to listen.
Yeah, but at the same time, a lot of people spend their days, and I guess my point is this: I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy about it or anything. It's fine, but do what you want on Twitter. But if you constantly retweet that drama and that's all your Twitter feed is, I will unfollow you because I choose not to see that. It's not that I choose not to educate that person. If I'm sitting in a bar with a friend, a straight white male friend who is absolutely being a sexist pig, I am absolutely, especially with a few beers with me, going to tell him, hey, you're being kind of a cunt and you need to stop.
Yeah.
Like, educate him. Be like, hey, this is a one-on-one experience where I can absolutely make a change and say, hey, man, it's not, hey, I'm not going to be your friend if you do this, which I probably won't be. But it will definitely be like, instead of just cutting someone off and being like, he's an asshole, maybe he doesn't know he's being an asshole. Or maybe there's a point where you can educate him and do that. On Twitter, where there's a guy doing that and there's tens of thousands of retweets, you're not going to change his mind by retweeting it and calling him an asshole.
Yeah.
The most that might happen is
all he's going to get is people agreeing with him, and then he's going to go, well, these people agree. I'm not alone. Ergo,
absolutely.
I'm going to continue with that line of thought.
Yeah, so you might as well, like I said, burn them out. With that said, I think that Twitter can be used for good, and I think that if your mental state is crashing because you're watching Twitter and you're upset by this so-and-so tool's tweet, this guy that's talking about some girl, first of all, it's awesome to get in solidarity with her. It's awesome to back her up and say, hey, you know what? And I've done this. I'm going to give you a follow on Twitch and go hang out because that guy's a fucking asshole. I've done that. And that is the way you do that. That is the way you support, in my opinion, the best way. Because not only are you shutting him out of the equation and you're not mentioning him by name and you're not giving him the clout or the drama or the tweets or whatever, but you're also coming to this person's back and saying, hey, yeah, like let's go give this person a follow and let's hang out with her and show her that that guy's a tool by supporting her. And I've totally done that.
Yeah, because that way it actually backfires on the person.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not helping that person that tried to get all the drama going get the drama. And
exactly.
Yeah, no, I completely.
I
think that's the way to go.
I think it's a very healthy way to look at it, and even then, like, I can see the argument if you're one of the ninjas of the world where you should use your platform of influence to do such and such. I can completely understand that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as, like, for lack of a better phrase, like lower tier, people are literally getting thousands and tens of thousands of viewers. Ordinary people, again, for lack of a better phrase, you need to look after yourself. And if you are seeing these negative things over and over and over again, and they're impacting you, curate your feed. Cut all that crap out.
Yeah,
make it so it's lollipops and rainbows. If that is going to benefit you mentally, absolutely do that. And if that also means not following some of your nearest and dearest friends for whatever reason,
do it. Yeah,
that's absolutely fine as well.
You don't have to tell them you've unfollowed. And if they ask, hey, why did you unfollow me? Just tell them the truth. There's nothing better than the truth and being transparent and just saying, hey, you know what? I'm trying to cater my feed to a certain type of tweet. And I just think that, your content's not what I'm looking for. I still love you as a friend and I still want to hang out with you. And I love your, I'm still, and they might be like, well, why aren't you, if you don't follow me on Twitter, you can't see when I go live. It's like, but that's all you post. So yeah, it's, if you feel, and that's another thing, if you're new to streaming and you're, for the off chance that you're listening to this, don't post that you're going live all the time. Like, to make sure you can post.
Have personality on your Twitter.
Yeah. Make sure you post in between that. I guess is my point. You can post that you're going live, absolutely, because I do. But in between that, you should be retweeting things and talking and make your feed what you want it to be. I follow a lot of stand-up comics, locally, especially in here in Austin. I used to do stand-up comedy, which is a lot of fun. Haven't done it in more than a year's time because I've just been busy. But the thing is that a lot of those comics are just putting out one-liners, just silly, comedic, dumb shit that they think of in the day-to-day that they might turn into a joke later, but they just post it and go, yeah, this is funny. And then my feed is filled up with that besides the streamer Twitter stuff. And so I started unfollowing a lot of streamers to get rid of the streamer Twitter stuff because I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to open my Twitter and laugh and just have a good time. And so that's helped me a lot. It's just helped me go, oh yeah, this is something I look forward to now when I browse Twitter in the morning or whatever, instead of being like scrolling through just all the same message, the same retweeting guy. Like, all right, cool. Like, everybody's retweeting this guy to tell him he's a douche. I get it.
But it is true though. And at the end of the day, you do have to put yourself first, be it for mental reasons, like your mental health and whatnot, or even just because you want to do something nice, like have a nice feed filled with jokes or boobies or whatever it is that makes you get up in the morning. That's entirely fine, and you shouldn't feel guilty for not wanting certain friends, posts, whatever in your feed. And likewise, like for other social media platforms, well, not just Twitter, but like Twitch, like you don't have to go and watch each and everybody's stream because one, you probably don't have the damn time, and two, again, you'll end up becoming jaded. It's like, oh, I'm watching this only because I feel obligated to, and then you become conceited, and it can put a strain on those friendships, if anything.
Yeah, absolutely. It becomes this kind of expectation of, I mean, and I've done that too, and I think there's this kind of mentality when people start streaming, especially, but when people are newer to streaming, they do this where it's kind of like you see a person come in and they support you for a bit, they sit and chat, they talk to you whenever they check out your stream, right? And then maybe they come in twice. You know, they come in twice. They come in on a Monday and a Wednesday, and then the next week you stream, they don't come in at all, and suddenly they put such value in that, and they see it as an attack, like you didn't come back to my stream. It's like, well, I'm not obligated to. This is not a commitment. We're not married. I'm not coming home to you every day after work. Like, I came to check out your stream. I liked your stuff. It doesn't mean I dislike your content just because I didn't come back for a while. There are certain streamers I don't visit but once every 6 months because I just kind of forget, not forget about them, but I don't have the time to go off and sit there and go, oh, wow, I didn't see this person. Now, if you want to market it to me on Twitter or whatever, and you have something coming up, like, hey, I have my 3-year anniversary or whatever, I'll come by and hang out. Like, that's cool. Like, I'm going to try to support you. But the expectation is there. It's kind of like, this is a weird analogy, but it's kind of like going on 2 dates with a person and then suddenly being like, well, why aren't we girlfriend and boyfriend now? What happened? It's like, well, we went on a date Monday and Wednesday last week. Why aren't you coming back Monday and Wednesday and going on a date with me every single Monday and Wednesday till the end of time? It's like, well, you are selfishly putting so much expectation on other people that it's unfair and it's going to drive them out. And this not only goes with relationships, you should not be putting all these expectations on people, but it also comes with Twitter relationships and friendships and Twitch and all of these different aspects of streaming and social media and stuff, and you shouldn't put your value in that at all. Your value is within yourself, and you should stream what you want to stream. You should do what you want to do to have fun and enjoy yourself. And if you're being burnt out on Twitch streaming because you're not seeing enough views, or you're putting value into communities and you're like, you know, this community doesn't actually support me, they just say they support me, it's like you're kind of being an asshole. Like, you're being an asshole in a way because you're putting all these expectations on people, and then you're kind of going on the attack when they don't give you what you are falsely expecting. And I think that is the biggest way. If you could look at it differently and look at it, you know what? It's a gift when people do come by, and I've accepted that gift, and it feels great. I'm actually using an analogy that a friend told me about polyamorous relationships or dating, where it's like, if they choose to spend time with you, and you've had a few dates, that's a gift. And you should be grateful for it. And if it ends and that doesn't happen anymore, and it's not a relationship, but you had 3 amazing, like, spectacular, fun dates, and you made out and you went out and did the carnival thing or whatever, like, you should be able to look on that as a fantastic memory in your life and go, you know what? I'm not dating him, but I had a blast, and that was a great time. That was one of the best dates I've ever been on. The same thing goes with somebody visiting your stream or supporting you.
And on the other end of the spectrum, I've had viewers who said, oh, Brian, I'm really sorry I can't make it to the stream, or I didn't make it to X, Y, and Z stream. It's like, you don't need to apologize. Never apologize. Like, at the end of the day, I am here to be an entertainer. If you've got life going on, that's cool. Like, you're not obligated to be there. And even if it was for a reason where I'm essentially to blame, or like maybe they did get bored of me, that's cool. Because at the end of the day, it's my job to entertain. So if I'm not keeping those viewers in, then that's on me to just either improve or change how I stream and things like that. But it's never an obligation of a viewer to be like, oh, I'm sorry I couldn't make it, I should be there each and every time. Like, no. Like,
absolutely.
Make it when you can. If you are there, fantastic. It's good to see you. If you're not, I'm not going to cry about it, to be honest, because I, one, won't have the mental capacity to do that if I cry about every viewer that doesn't come back. And 2, it's still, it's part of the learning process, and I'm not entitled to have you all there.
Oh, that's a big word right there is entitlement. I think the entitlement is basically what I'm touching on a lot of this. People feel entitled to your view or to your support. And honestly, you have to earn that. You have to put out good content. Try to be funnier. Try to do Twitter videos.
Yeah.
Try to, you have to look at yourself as a product, your brand, and you have to market the crap out of yourself. And I even know this, and I don't even take my own advice a lot. That's probably why I'm not bigger than I am on Twitch. Because I look at it and go, well, I could make a funny video, or I could do, retweetable tweets and stuff. And then I just kind of get lazy, and I'm like, you know what? I know where I'm failing. Not failing, but you know what I mean. I know where I could improve. And I think a lot of that is, hey, look at your streams. Go back and watch your VODs and try to see how you are interacting, or maybe where you might fall off the entertainment value. Because I've seen people play League of Legends in the quiet, in the dark, for an hour without saying a fucking word. And they're complaining about, these communities don't support me and nobody comes to my streams and nobody, it's but who wants to just sit in a room in the dark and just watch you do?
Yeah.
They could just go play the game.
Exactly.
At this point, it's just gameplay footage. You need to put in the commentary. So anyway, I think with a community like Clevernation, just to bring it back to that, my community managers, Ogre, Bodok, RKO, fantastic people. They are all very much, so RKO and Bodok don't stream. Bodok used to, but they're basically moderators for a lot of different channels. Ogre does stream, Ogre Magi, and he is very much like me in the heart of it. The heart of it is the community and the friends. And when we went to TwitchCon, we had our brunch for Clevernation, and there was probably a good 20 people there. And we just it was such a blast to meet everyone. And even though we were all kind of doing our own thing, the fact that we could meet up and have that meetup was amazing. And that is more so what it's about. We're actually having an Airbnb set up in a cabin coming up in May called CleverCon. And it's basically just this, you can pay $150 and stay in a cabin for 3 days with us. And we're all going to have our own beds and our own rooms and stuff. But we're going to play Cards Against Humanity and Superfight and Jackbox and just eat food and drink beers. And the fact that you can do that from an internet community is just mind-boggling to me. The fact that you have all these people coming from all over the states and different places, and some people from Canada even are flying down. And I think that is what you should be focused on Twitch or on Mixer or whatever you're doing. Whatever streaming platform, whatever social media, even if you're just on Twitter and you don't stream, you should be focused on just making friends and having a good time, and not necessarily having meetups and stuff, but if that's what it comes to, the ability to do that is phenomenal, in my opinion, and it's great.
When you do have those type of meetups, it feels, using a very professional term, organic.
Oh, absolutely.
It's real. It's not I have to go to the thing because I have to, try and rub elbows with people. It's I'm going to go see my mates. We're probably going to get a wee bit sozzled and have a bit of a giggle. And that's what it is. And that's great. Because it's nice to just have fun with people that you've made these genuine friendships with over the internet.
Yeah.
Who, yes, are your peers, but you don't see them as peers first.
Well, they're no longer,
it's friends.
If you're in a room with somebody, they're not looking at you, or you're not looking at them as a streamer, follow for follow, clout and Twitter and they're a person, and that's the beauty of it. And you're not going to like every person, and that's fine, but you're going to find those people that you kind of cling to. And there are people like Lars, for instance, on my Twitch team. Lars I've known for years, and when we went to TwitchCon, we ended up getting drunk and having a heart-to-heart about family and my mom passing away a couple years ago and all this stuff. And it was this genuine connection, and he hugged me, and it's the most love I've ever felt in the world. And I was you meet somebody like that who's just going to be by your back and have your back or whatever, and just be this cool person in your life. And it has nothing to do with streaming, and it has nothing to do, we've done co-streams and stuff, of course, and I completely support him. I can't make it to every one of his streams, but I don't feel obligated to. I'm I'll go when I want to see Lars and hang out with him. And I think that's what should be your focus on Twitch, especially if you're up and coming. Meet people, go hang out with people. Don't expect things. Don't go into someone's stream and go, well, I've looked at your stream or watched your stream 20 times now, and you've never come by my stream. Well, you know what? Now you sound like a jerk. It's
because it's you're not, you do not have that entitlement. I'm going to do what I want to do. If we're best buds, I'm going to get a pint with you. I don't have to come to all of your streams, or any of them technically. And yeah, sooner or later, People need to either learn that very, very quickly, or they're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, because
And
you're
it's
setting expectations that are they're not gonna be met,
yeah,
and then you're gonna put you're gonna devalue the actual friendship or connection that's there. Um, it's such a weird thing to enter into, but the thing about Twitch now is that it used to be what, like 50 viewers to every one stream or something, and now I think it's like 20 viewers to every one stream, something.
it used to be around 70 to every one
Oh, gotcha.
streamer, and it's now 29.
Yeah, so
I actually mentioned that in the last cast.
Gotcha.
With,
Okay. Yeah.
Katie. So yeah, I've seen the exact figures, and it's terrifying.
Yeah. So now, I mean, it's one of those things that a lot of people are aiming for, kind of hitting it big and getting all this community and stuff. But you really have to be a huge personality if that's your brand. If that's not your brand, create a character or do edit some animations and make some stuff that's unique to your stream or whatever. But for the most part, every streamer I see, if you're trying to aim for, hey, how can I get people to be entertained by this, and how can I sell my brand, you have to really lean into it and look at yourself as a product that you're trying to push out to the world. And if you're going to look at the money side of it, you're not going to make a lot of money through Twitch subs unless you get pretty big in that realm. You should rely more on getting your brand to the point where you can get sponsored. I mean, that's my goal is, hey, if I can get an average, 40, 50 viewers or whatever every stream, and I can be consistent, I could get, OPC or Corsair or something, talk to them and be paid for it. Don't I'm not saying that I can be paid for it. I'm saying to people listening and to you or anyone else who's streaming and trying to get that, make sure that you negotiate payment, because there are a lot of people out there. They're like an affiliate program, and if you sell G Fuel, then you can get 10% off and whatever. You should be sponsored, and that means they should pay you and send you products, and it should be a mutual balance agreement. Hey, I'm giving this to 50 people every night. So
100%. Yeah, it tickles me especially when you see people just starting. They're like, oh yeah, I've got this affiliate code and this affiliate code and this affiliate code and this affiliate code. And it's like, cool, who's buying? Oh, no one.
Well, not only that, but even if they are buying, even if they do have an audience, and let's say they have 30 people average viewers and they're watching and they start buying this whatever affiliate link and using your affiliate link, sure, you get a percentage of that or
pittance of.
You're being used by that company, and the company may not see it that way or they may not pitch it that way, but you're absolutely being bent over that desk and completely fucked out of that deal, because if you're peddling their product, that's free advertising for them, and you're just giving it over to them. Hey, all my friends, you should go buy this. Well, what, do you get paid for this? No, I just really like the product. It's like, well, no. Nobody's going to do that. You're working for free.
I get a bit of commission. It's like, you should be getting more than just a bit of commission. Like, to clarify as well, we're not saying don't have an affiliate code with your sponsorship.
Absolutely.
But actually negotiate a proper deal. Don't just be like, oh, I have this affiliate link and I get a wee bit of cash when folks buy stuff. Because no, you're being used, and it's not costing they're not losing money by giving you a bit of commission.
Yeah,
it's not coming at a cost. They've put that into the equation and gone, we can easily give them this bit of commission and still make infinitely more from them than we should be paying them. it's always negotiate a deal.
Yeah, always negotiate a deal, because and if you don't know how to negotiate a deal, talk to other streamers who have. That's the biggest thing. Find a friend or find a partnered person who you really admire, and you can always send them a Twitter DM. Not everybody is open to that, so don't just go blast people. But a respectful, professional, hey, I'm new to this and I have this, thing that I'm doing with a sponsor, and I'm kind of dumb in this way, or I'm naive, or I just don't know how to do this. And I know you're sponsored with somebody. Can you give me some tips on how to do this? I've asked people in their streams before, hey, I'm thinking about this, and they're like, no, don't take that deal. No. And it's helped, and it's been sometimes you have to look at your peers and go, hey, how did you manage this? How am I supposed to do this? And do it from a not selfish perspective. You don't want to be like,
Of course.
give me all your tips and advice, and then I'll never, be your friend or whatever. But like,
Exactly.
you can learn from your peers, and essentially what it comes down to, and I would say the same thing for Twitch. I'm trying, like, I'm not bad mouthing Twitch or Amazon here, by any means, but they make money off your subscriptions, and when you become an affiliate and you start getting subs, they're making money off that, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
To keep them afloat and everything. But if you want to support streamers, in my opinion, the best way is donations directly to PayPal. That's always been my gag, is like, hey, if you're looking to get that, if you want that whole $5 to go to that streamer, I mean, obviously you're going to have taxes and fees and whatever through PayPal, but like, I always donate because I'm like, hey, I already got your emotes. I'm going to donate you $20 because that's the best way to support you. And that's going to be what puts food on their table, I've always just been kind of the person that thinks a little bit outside of that. And when you look at products and businesses coming in with affiliate links and stuff, a lot of it is taking advantage of, hey, well, we can have one partner that we can pay to sell our product. And that's great, right? That's 2,500, viewers a month or whatever, right? That's great. And they do that. Don't get me wrong. A lot of companies like Coursera, they do that with Badjo and Jins and all this stuff. But like, if they come to this and say, oh, well, or we could have 2,000 next to nobody streamers who are so excited about our product that they'll basically just peddle it for free. Here's the affiliate links.
Yeah.
It's 2,000 streamers worth of free advertising. And it's kind of genius in a way. It's almost like it's really messed up.
It is from a business perspective.
From a business perspective, yeah.
Morally,
it's like,
not so much.
Yeah, exactly.
And for the consumer, or rather, like, well, the streamer, the content creator, the person.
Well, convincing
the
people it's their
affiliate.
idea is the most evil way to do it, and that's what they're doing. Is saying, oh, I want to be sponsored by this company. Bring them on, and oh, well, I got an affiliate link, so technically I'm sponsored, right? It's like, but people just aren't aware. They're just naive. They just don't know that you should absolutely be working your brand up to where you have concurrent viewership, and even if you're not a Twitch partner, you can sell yourself, and you can sell those viewers and those numbers, and you can use them to negotiate, and you should always be doing that.
Yeah, 100%. One thing I would potentially counter-argue to your point about donations.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with streaming, be it subs or donations or bits, I mean, when it comes to bits is a weird one, especially because there's a lot of security with bits about chargebacks and all that.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that, yeah.
But they're a rip-off. They're an absolute rip-off to the consumer. Like, you are paying a premium to donate. You're paying more. You're paying, in the UK, £1.36 to give someone $1. And it's like, you're paying extra for digital currency. If you're a consumer, you're being ripped off at the end of the day. If you're a streamer, it's a cool because you've got this security. But if I actually had a view going, oh, should I get bits or just give you direct donation? I would say a direct donation from their perspective, because the vast majority of their money goes to the person they want to support, and they're not getting ripped off for it. Like, they're not paying a premium to give a different amount to the streamer.
Sure, yeah.
But with bits and subs and donations altogether, it's very volatile. There's no consistency. And it's, as you said, you want to get things like sponsorships, because then what your ingoings and outgoings are. You
Absolutely.
Can calculate, you can look ahead. Whereas even with subs obviously tend to be recurring, so you can add a little bit of like forecast in there. You can go, okay, well, I've got X amount of subs. I'm potentially going to get the same amount or roughly the same amount next month. But then you could have a massive drop. Is some seasonal things happening, like exams or whatnot. And I think another thing that as a viewer, they don't understand is you see it all the time. That it's like, oh, Ninja's got 30,000 subs. He's making $2.50 on everyone. No, he's not. He's not making $2.50 on everyone, because the taxes and stuff, depending on where they are, vary wildly depending on where the sub is coming from. I've got a friend in Chile. When he subs, I get $1.50 of it, because over $1 nearly goes to like various taxes and things.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's all taken out on the streamer's side. None of the taxes and stuff get taken on Twitch's side. They get the full $2.50. It's why, here's the secret, chat, everyone wants your Prime sub because they don't get taxed. You actually get the full amount with a Prime sub.
I didn't know that. That's actually interesting.
Yeah, so because with a Prime sub, it's not technically them paying. There's no tax on it, so that's why you get the full amount. Whereas if someone, for example, is subscribing from Chile, they've got to pay whatever legal taxes they have to pay. Like from the UK, 20% of it is VAT, etc. So it's always good to, as Kerry in one of the previous episodes said, is to supplement your income. Find ways to find consistent, regular income as opposed to this volatile,
find a baseline,
amalgamated mass. Yeah. So things like merch and going into YouTube as well. Like one of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast is, one, because it's just really easygoing content, and two, it's more content that isn't Twitch. I have another avenue of where I can bring in viewers, where I can bring in maybe eventually like actual revenue of the financial variety, and it's something that doesn't take a huge amount of time, thankfully. I did once want to do proper YouTube videos, but that was so time consuming, as well as Twitch and working full time. It just wasn't viable for me. But always look for those extra things to bring different revenues, or different avenues rather of income to your stream and whatnot. Like, don't just rely on subs, basically. It's a bad idea.
Well, also you have to note, I do want to point out two things. One, Ninja also negotiates contracts with how long he stays with a company, and I think he signed for like $17 million a year for Mixer now, and I'm pretty sure he had something probably a lot less on Twitch, but like obviously those types of streamers are in the position of power of, hey, we control a lot of these audience members, coming in, and if I were to leave, this happens, or if I were to quit streaming, like, you're going to lose a lot of viewers and whatever. And that is partially true. A lot of people would find other streamers to watch, but a lot of people do come out from people who aren't on Twitch, or who just like don't really do Twitch, come to see somebody specifically outside of that. He, and I know partners, from what I hear, at least of that caliber, can negotiate how much they get from subscriptions.
Yes.
So he might not be getting $2.50. He might be getting $3.50 or $4 or whatever. But like,
yeah, it's true.
So that's something to keep in mind. But also, I kind of hate this mentality, and I've been guilty of it too. Where I look at somebody's subs and go, oh man, they're making like $10,000 a month, and just from my calculation or whatever, that's insane. And then it kind of feeds into the, I'm gonna be big one day and I'm gonna make all this money. And it's like, but those people who make $10,000 a month might not make that next month. Their subs might drop off, and their donations are very hit or miss. Like, they might have made 1,000 from donations and suddenly nobody donates. I haven't had I don't know how long it's been. I don't think I've had a PayPal donation in like almost 8 months. Because I mean, the subs, I'm not saying I'm not grateful for that, but it's just interesting just to look at and go, look at my PayPal and go, okay, well, obviously I'm getting all this from subs. When I look at the analytics of it and look at the donations, that's fine. It's fine not to get one, but I can't rely on that, is my point. And I'm not asking people to donate, and I'm not making it a point and being like, you have to donate to me. But like, my point is that if you don't get donations for a while, then that's just telling you that it's volatile and that you're not going to be able to rely on that. Same with subs and whatever. And one of the other points I was going to make was that when we talk about people, oh man, I lost my train of thought. There was something I was going to say about, well, not only the Ninja thing, but like, I guess it's one of those things where, like, if you have someone you support, you should support them however you want, obviously. Twitch is going to make their money. Your streamer is going to make your money. But if you want to have it be stable, like you said, have that baseline, I know what the point I was going to make. There's sponsors you can get, which is awesome. And when you lean into other media, social media, and other ways to do it, that's your goal. That's not, because all you're doing is sitting on the Twitch browse page, playing this game, and you're at the bottom. You are never going to be able to market yourself. You're never going to be able to get there is no visibility for you. You are literally just hiding in an alleyway somewhere and expecting everyone at the ballroom down the street to notice you. And they're not going to notice you.
Notice me, senpai.
Exactly. They're not going to notice you because you're in the alley, 8 blocks away, just hiding in a corner in a dumpster somewhere. Get out of that. You can still be on that bottom of the browse page, but you should be using social media. Make YouTube videos, make podcasts, like get your friends, like try to find an interesting content creation outside of Twitch, like you said. Absolutely agree with that, because that is what's going to market you and then bring people to your Twitch.
And it tickles me sometimes when people are like, oh, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do this, and then they're disappointed at the lack of results.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you get what you put in.
Absolutely.
Discoverability, particularly on Twitch, is a wee bit wank. Like, it's not really there. It's gotten better, I would say, in the last year or so. They're definitely making steps in the right direction. But otherwise, it's up to you. You need to stand with the megaphone on the cliff shouting, hi, I'm dope, come and see me. And you need to do it, as you said, through other avenues, be it various kinds of social media. Like, you don't have to register for each and every social media. Like, every time there's a new app, everyone's like, let's go to the new app. And it's like, no, you don't have to. But at least have alternatives, not just Twitch. Like, I predominantly use Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. They're my go-to. I've dabbled a wee bit on TikTok, but that's more just because I'm addicted to TikTok and I need help.
Are you really? I like it, but
TikTok,
I've kind of backed off of it because I felt I was browsing it too much at work.
Oh, absolutely. It'll be like I go to bed really late, like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, more often than not. And I'll go, okay, I'll just look at a couple of videos. And then it's 4 in the morning. And I'm like, what happened? When did we get here? What? Where's time? Oh no, I have to go to work and I haven't slept. That's the bad side of TikTok. But coming back to where we were, you don't have to be like, okay, I need a Facebook. I need a Twitter. I need a Byte, is it now? The new Vine 2.0? I need a TikTok. I need YouTube, Google Plus, Banana Hammock, everything. Like, you don't need all of that. But absolutely, 100% do not just rely on Twitch, because it's not going to work.
Yeah, it's just if you don't already have your foot in the door somewhere, if you obviously know friends that are kind of higher up on the totem pole and you can kind of ease your way into that, that's fine. There are ways to do it. If you can, what I did initially was I played Hollow Knight when I first started streaming, and I would play it because there were only like 10 people streaming it at any given time, but there was a ton of viewers. So I would actually kind of slowly through the night climb up in that category to the very top, 3 streams or whatever of that category for Hollow Knight. And then once I got those viewers, not that I was strategically doing this, but it was just happenstance, kind of a thing I noticed after doing it for so long. I would play Hollow Knight for a couple hours, get 24 viewers or something, and then I would go play the game that I would want to play after that, and it would be a bigger game, like your shooting games and whatnot, right? Mm-hmm. And I would say, hey guys, we're going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to switch over. Well, I'm carrying those 24 views into a browse page that has a lot of 0 and 1 and 2 average viewers sitting at the bottom.
Yeah.
So you're actually kind of coming in fresh and hot into that category of whatever that popular game is at a much more prestigious level. You're kind of in the mid to top lane of those streams as opposed to...
You're higher in the totem pole.
Exactly. So you can strategically, maybe not like, oh shit, I got 50 viewers from this raid, let's go switch over to, Apex Legends or Modern Warfare or whatever. No, you don't want to do that. That's kind of a dick move because they might be coming over for whatever game you're playing. But you can still manage to kind of ease into that direction of, you know what, now that I'm building my concurrent viewers using smaller indie games, get them to like my personality and entertain them so that they stick around, which, I have somebody who stuck around since Terraria. They found me on a wiki page for Terraria, and they have been such a massive supporter of my stream for every single game I play because they like me, and they're like, this is great. I watch you because I like Terraria, and then I liked the way that you played and your personality so much that I stayed. And so that's your goal, is to kind of, hey, you have a couple seconds or a couple minutes to convince these people that it's not about the game. That's not the reason they should stay. You should stay because it's me and I'm funny or I'm, whatever.
And it's not even so much a secret. Like, it's a good tactic. It's a viable tactic.
Oh, yeah.
it's also something you're literally told to do if you have a sponsored segment. Like, whenever you get a sponsored deal to play a specific game for free and you're being paid to do it, they specifically say for at least an hour beforehand, do your regular stream.
Yeah. And then bring
Don't
your
start-
concurrent viewers over.
Yeah, don't start with your sponsored segment. Stream at least an hour beforehand with whatever you normally do. Then you switch to whatever the game is that you're being sponsored for. And then sometimes they even ask you to do like at least an hour afterwards doing whatever you want to do after the sponsor segment to bring in those viewers beforehand rather than, like I said, starting at the bottom of the directory and stuff like that with 0 viewers and obviously no one actually taking in that paid content. So it's a very business-minded thing and sensible thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the whole point of it, is just a lot of people don't realize, and a lot of people come kind of from the outside and say, well, I play Fortnite. I could do what you do. And it's like, I retweeted somebody who actually said that, was kind of just like, which was hilarious. But it's like, yeah, I play Fortnite. I could do what you do. No, I don't think that's what it means. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, like, I'd get paid to play video games all day. That must be the dream. And it's like, that's the first question out of people's mouth when they ask me. I ran into a stand-up comedian the other day who I used to see around the comedy circuit. And he saw a Twitch hoodie on me, and he was like, oh, do you do Twitch? I said, yeah, I stream. He goes, well, how much money do you make from that? And that's the first thing out of his mouth. It's not, what do you stream or like whatever. And it's kind of hilarious because it's really not a lot about the money. It's just, this is a supplement to my income. I am in IT, and I'm doing this smart, relevant thing of actually having my day job and trying to, put away money for retirement and all this stuff. And a lot of people just don't get that. So it's just this interesting dichotomy of one versus the other,
I get asked that a lot. There was one person in particular who was following me on Instagram until I blocked them because I was sick of them asking me about how much money I make. But yeah, there was someone who I knew and was acquainted with in real life. They'd be there with a bunch of other friends drinking more often than not in the pub. And then they were like, so how much are you making now? And I was like, oh, hi, yeah, I'm good, mate. Like, what have you been up to? The kid's good? Cool. Fuck off, kind of thing. And I ended up just blocking him because I got so sick of it. But it is interesting how people not in the industry perceive it.
Yes. It's you don't put in any work. You just play games. It's like, dude.
Yeah.
Well, if I didn't put in any work, I definitely wouldn't be making any money because I'd have 2 concurrent viewers and no one would care about me. But when you look in the business aspect of it, like you said, there's so much that goes in the back end of things. There's, sitting in After Effects and making things for your stream and whatever. But there's also the networking and the marketing and the trying to like reach out to, to make friends in the communities and going to TwitchCon and giving away business cards. And like, you're trying to pull all of these people in this like shark eat shark world where everyone's trying to do the exact same shit you are. It's very tough. And so you have to go above and beyond and try to find a way to market yourself to this absolute nth degree of, look at me, basically. It's like this kind of attention seeking, like, hey, you, not in a bad way, but just like, you have to do a good job of that. You have to make it where, hey, look at me works. And then people come and go, oh, I did look at you and you're great. Holy crap. How, you're funny or you're doing this or whatever.
Be unique.
Yes, exactly.
Because you are literally one of thousands, tens and tens of thousands of people all doing the exact same thing. Some better than others, but you need to stand out amongst the crowd.
Well, you sitting in Fortnite category at the bottom, playing mediocre, I'm just being honest, playing mediocre games, and I'm not hating on Fortnite, do what you want to do, right? But like, if you don't have other people playing with you that are making people laugh, like you have a good group of friends and it's hilarious every time you watch it, then what else do you have? Are you great at the game? You're not? Okay, so you're just playing this mediocre game and you're just losing a bunch and hoping you get a win. So the only thing you have going is what? Chat interaction? Well, everyone has chat interaction, most of them. So what you should be doing is look at people like I keep just name dropping people, but Biotic Nova, who is here actually locally to me. She's awesome, and she focused in on the Dark Souls genre, and there's a great community behind Dark Souls and Bloodborne and stuff.
Yep.
But if you can get good at those games, and you can do speedruns or New Game Plus, or you can like basically just go through those games and become that kind of, for lack of a better word, like expert to the chat and like, hey, yeah, this is what I do, this is what I do. I'm all about learning it. And you kind of focus in on that and make that your main game. Not saying everybody has to do that, but it has a community built behind it already, and it has such an interesting thing. Same with Warframe and all these games where Destiny 2, like, try to find a game that's going to make you like blow up and be like, hey, yeah, this is what people care about. And if I kind of either get good at it or make it an entertaining ride along the way, people will follow me. But if you're not good at it and you're not funny and you're not unique and you have nothing to bring to the table, then people are just going to, oh, it's another Fortnite stream. Oh, it's another, Destiny stream, whatever. I think
one person I would
to be good at it. Like at streaming.
For sure. Yeah, of course. One person I would name drop in this instance is El Dirty Squirrel. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah.
I was on Team Sin Squad with him originally. That's how I came across him. He's a character streamer, and he is, in his own words, half man, half squirrel. He has the squirrel ears. He has the squirrel tail. He wears like this boiler suit, and
That's
not
awesome.
only does he have this character that he puts like his community is the Illuminati. When you see him on Twitter, he usually leaves a comment or a response that references squirrels or nuts or something in some way. And it's not just that, it's also his production quality. Like, he makes these little skits and videos. Like, he's got this video that he sometimes posts on social media of him hula hooping a donut in space and things like that. And like during his stream, he'll eject this cartoon seat as part of his scene into space, and then he'll have to go out and chase it, and like he's got all this fantastic production value.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's really good.
I'm always so awe-inspired when I see the amount of production value he puts into his stream.
Yeah, see,
but
if
also
anything,
the dedication to his character.
It just makes me want to, like, hearing that just from your voice, just telling me, not only do I want to follow this person immediately, which is great, and you have to hit me up with his Twitch, but also just hearing that inspires me immediately to go, man, I definitely need to like get an After Effects and do some stuff and like try to make it unique so that people come in and they go, oh wow, that's cool. And I think that's what everyone should be doing is stop streaming 7 days a week. This is going to be my final advice of this podcast. Stop streaming 7 days a week and doing it full time. Stream 3 or 4 days a week and take the other days to relax and work on your production and work on things and try to tweet a bunch and like try to make it to where you're marketable. And when people come in, if they have 7 seconds to have a good first impression of you, you should not just be staring into a mattress while playing League of Legends. Like you need to be like on point and ready to go.
And I think that is a fantastic bit of advice to end on there as well. Chris, where do we find you?
I am on twitch.tv/SirClever. That's SIR Clever. I'm on Twitter at SirCleverTV because SirClever was taken. And Instagram as well, SirCleverTV. Those are the three that I'm mainly on. And if you want to check out the Clevernation community, or if you're a streamer and want to pop by and just promote yourself or meet friends and stuff, we have the Discord link up on clevernation.net.
Fantastic. I'll put, of course, links in the description, depending on what platform you are listening in on. How many times have you nearly given out your old one, by the way?
Oh, it's happened pretty much. Well, for the last few weeks since I rebranded, it's happened a lot. I've also given out my business cards with Christopher Clever's links on them, too. And I'm like, crap, I got to get those reprinted. So that's kind of funny.
I imagine it would be. But thank you so much for being on the show today. I've actually had a dope time. We have gone a little bit over what I would normally like to do because I like talking to you, dude. So thank you very much for being on the show. When we end the recording, we'll likely talk a wee bit more. Thank you to everyone who has been listening. I hope you all enjoyed the show, and we will see you in the next episode.